Hey, really the only thing that gon' be normal is distribution. Normal folks gon' infuse some. Optimize your lineups and you feed the rest, you mute them. Turning it up, these numbers are loud. Peeping this game from a nimbus is wild. Making it rain while I embrace all this risk, I'm insane. Talking about that Bestbell, I'm the best West till into the next world. Guess I got next still. Bestbell, I'm the best rest till into the next world. Guess I got next still.
Hey everybody, Bradley Stalder here on the Bestbell Fantasy Football podcast and live stream. I'm so stoked for tonight. We've got week 11 off to a terrible start. like Felix, I was talking with some buddies after the start of Thursday Night Football, and nothing had happened yet. And I was like, oh, thank God. We finally get a great Thursday night game. We do not have Jets Raiders. We don't have Panthers Bears. We don't have any bull crap like that. We are going to get an over-under above 45. Like, this is going to be a fun Thursday night game. We're going to have so much interdivisional matchup between the Bengals and the Ravens. We are ready to roll. It's going to be a lot of Burrow versus Jackson. And we're going to see a massive shootout. And then maybe we're going to see some Keaton Mitchell explode. Maybe we're going to see Zay Flowers explode. Maybe it's a Mark Andrews game. Who knows? Jamar Chase is one of the most electric players. And it went not as scripted at all. Like, Joe Burrow leaves with a season-ending injury. Mark Andrews leaves with a season-ending injury. Jamar Chase goes 2 for 12 for the touchdown. This was disaster. Keaton Mitchell only like 30-something yards on the ground. Like, it was just an absolute mess for fantasy. So you couldn't get to a worse start here. For those who are just joining us, Felix Castro is here at Crying Buffalo on Twitter. Felix, how are you doing tonight?
I just found out. I've been with the kids all day. I didn't realize the Burrow was out for the remainder of the season. So that was just a hit to the stomach. But other than that, we're doing good, I guess. My Chase bags feel terrible now. I kind of faded I faded Andrews in season long, but I think so many injuries to the quarterbacks this year. So many injuries. It's tough.
Yeah. How do you think this
we're going to live? We're going to live.
This is a question. I think I can't remember if it was Herzig or James Brimacombe, one of the other great best ball guys. If you're not following Felix on Twitter at Crying Buffalo, make sure you guys are. Felix is really strong in the best ball content, so make sure you guys are checking him out. But other guys who are also strong in this space, we're talking
Eagles
about
Herzig,
Eagles and Herzig. Like, what is this going to do to people who are just getting started in best ball? Like, is this going to scare away people from playing best ball, given how, number one, how important the quarterback position is to scoring, especially in Best Ball Mania and a half-point PPR, half point. And then also, like, there are so many teams. I think there's 700 teams in the top 10,000 who now will go the rest of the season without a quarterback in Best Ball Mania 4. Like, what is your opinion of how we should approach the quarterback position moving forward?
Okay. Side note, I drafted so poorly this year, and I'm kind of like dodging all these injuries a little bit. So, like, keep them coming. And just keep Jordan Love and Justin Herbert alive, and we're gonna make a lot of money this year. So, but I think going forward, I think it depends on how well they do, like, and how much they enjoy drafting. I think that's my favorite part of best ball. It's not even like following the games; it's like all the drafting we get to do leading up to the season. It's just like, do you really know what you're talking about? Nobody knows what they're talking about. And last year, like the strategy tool I've done really well was to take Jalen Hurts and Gardner Minshew, because he was out those last few weeks, and if you had Gardner Minshew, you would have had a decent playoff. It's gonna change the way people think about drafting later quarterbacks. Like, instead of taking maybe a terrible quarterback and maybe take a backup, or like somebody like I have a few shares of Carson Wentz. a couple shares of Jameis Winston, like stuff like that. Because I had a lot of Trey Lance the year before, and I hit that injury bug pretty good.
Yeah, the Trey Lance, unfortunately, he never became a thing. That's gotta hurt. It's interesting that I'm like judging. So on DK, like they give you instant feedback of how much money you're making in the best ball streets, and then I just am kind of like a little bit.
It's a fake. It's a fake number, but yeah,
at least
makes you feel good.
At least it's better than underdog, where you have no freaking clue at that point.
You're positive,
yeah, it looks really bad for you on underdog.
Dude, my numbers are so bad this year. I didn't think I could do worse than last year, but I am finding a way. I'm finding a way because I didn't fade him, but I was taking Kupp instead of McCaffrey this year. And those first 4 weeks, I mean, that was so many of my teams. Like, I mean, could we like just not be injured or have training camp? Can we just go straight into the season? Just no training camp. Just week 1, we just start playing because like I'm tired of all the injuries, man. So tired of it.
I feel you. And one of the things when I had Mike Leone on Best Bell earlier this summer, he said that like if you only have 2 or 3 players out of the people you drafted by the end of the season, like you're looking great.
Honestly, the year that I won it, I had like 4 people on my bench that scored points, and it's a 20 team roster with 9 people starting. So I had 7 people out. Like I had Robert Tonyan, who was out for most of the season that year. Rob Gronkowski was, pretty good, but like in the playoffs, he scored zeros. And Elijah Moore got COVID that year. And that was back in the day where if you had COVID, you couldn't play that week.
Yeah. Wild stuff.
Yeah.
Wild stuff. Well, we're going to get into today. We already kind of tapped into some of the week 11 news and week 11 things that happened from Thursday Night Football. Odell Beckham is actually looking okay. Like I know that Zay Flowers didn't come. It got called back. The 60-something yard touchdown got called back.
It was question. I could definitely see why people don't say it's a holding, but technically it was holding. But but there's holding on every play. You can't call that. It was at the point of attack, so I get it. I get why he called it.
Yeah, it's tough, but Odell Beckham has played pretty well over the last few weeks and has been earning targets or getting touchdowns. And Rashad Bateman also got a touchdown in this game. And Zay Flowers, I think, is going to be the answer to our question. Yeah. Is it going to be Isaiah Likely? The answer is probably no. I think the answer is going to be Zay Flowers moving forward. So the Zay Flowers plus Odell Beckham Jr. is going to be the Baltimore pass catchers that you want.
Yeah.
Nelson Aguilar also had a touchdown in this game, but
that was a freak touchdown. But he take these random touchdowns that don't really they're not really set up for it. Like he's throwing it to him, but nobody expected anything out of it. No, you know what I mean? He is the Ted Ginn touchdown scorer. Like he'll have that 1 week where he has a touchdown, like a 60-yard touchdown, and that was his only catch. That'll be kind of how he rolls.
And that's why, Nelson Aguilar is like a last round selection with your Ravens, Lamar Jackson stack is always an eyebrow raise. At least getting a little bit of sprinkling exposure to those types of players can get you a flex play here and there. But we'll kick it off
in redraft. Yeah.
No, we will. He's not worth a pickup in redraft for sure. We'll kick it off with the Bears-Lions. The Bears-Lions, a couple pieces of news coming out of that. Justin Fields is expected to play. Khalil Herbert is activated. The Lions are 7.5-point favorites at home. This is an over-under 48, so we're expecting a little bit of a shootout. Donta Foreman has played admirably in Khalil Herbert's absence, but Herbert was the main ball carrier before the injury. Roshan Johnson, mostly a third down back. And then on the other side, Gibbs and Montgomery were splitting pretty close to even. Pretty
And the
close
fact
to
that he
even.
let him have that touchdown, like I think it's just they have a good relationship. Like there's no like ego there. Like it'd be like I know this is like everybody wants it to be a David Montgomery show them like what they lost, but I feel like he has no ego enough for it, and I feel like they're gonna let him get the touchdown to kind of shove it, put it in their face a little bit. But I think it could easily be a 50-50 split again.
This week, I have Jahmyr Gibbs at running back 6 and David Montgomery at running back 16.
Yeah.
I think they're both, in startable running back 1, running back 2 range. Khalil Herbert, I don't think he's necessarily startable right out the gate. We don't know what that usage is going to be week 1. I think we want to see what it looks like. But Roschon Johnson is more of a desperation flex in this game, given the game script and how it could go. What do you think, Felix?
I kind of feel like the running back here doesn't matter. Does that make sense? Like they're not going to matter. They're going to be behind because they're going to run it. They're going to get it run down their throats. And like they're going to constantly be trying to catch up. And I kind of think it's a Cole Kmet week versus the running backs. Like if you want a piece of the Lion or the Bears, you want Cole Kmet.
Kmet I have at tight end 11 this week. So he's startable in most leagues. But we've seen some massive spike weeks from Cole Kmet. We've also seen some duds. And that's just what you're going to get from a tight end like Cole Kmet in an offense like the Chicago Bears.
Well, the Lions they were like the team that gave up the most touchdowns last year or the most points to tight ends last year. And he is the spike week kind of guy. And I feel like they had a connection right before he got hurt. And then he had a good week with Tyler I don't know his first name, Bagent.
Tyson Bagent.
He had a good game with him. Yeah. And so I'm like, maybe he's just starting to come around and they're going to be playing from behind. I think this is a good spot for him.
I think so as well. Obviously, you're starting Amon-Ra St. Brown. Josh Reynolds is a really deep flex possibility. What do you think about Josh Reynolds?
He's been slumping a little. I've been like playing him as my flex play on DK, but I don't know. I've been honestly like Khalif Raymond's been getting more. It feels like getting more targets or receiving more. Am I wrong with that, or is that close?
Yeah, over the last 3 games, Josh Reynolds a total of 5 targets. So he has fallen off a lot compared to, the first 4 weeks. Reynolds was 29th, 7th, 36th, and 10th in weekly finishes. So with the emergence of Jameson Williams getting more snaps and Khalif Raymond, and DPJ.
He's coming. He's coming.
DPJ is not good at football. So
no, he's not. I love him. Michigan man. I love him, but he's not there yet.
I can't love him. I can't love him. And I'm the one who lives in Michigan here.
I know. I'm a big Michigan guy. I mean, I'm talking about like I love Haskins, even though he's a bad person now, and like Chris Evans, I'm like I still root for him. And Blake Corum's gonna be a fucking smash next year. He's gonna be my first round pick in Dynasty.
Yeah, it's gonna be really exciting for all of us. I think that does it for the Bears Lions matchup. I don't think this is pretty straightforward. I guess one question, we've got a lot of questions in the start sits about Justin Fields, or because I have Justin Fields right now at quarterback 14 on the week. Should we go with like Justin Fields or Sam Howell?
Sam Howell, I'm probably forgetting I almost said
They're playing the Giants.
Commanders. Oh,
yeah, they got the Giants.
Giants have a weak secondary, but they might just run it down because they won't need to.
But also, Antonio Gibson's expected to miss this game.
Yeah, we all be Rob. I would. That's a tough one. I mean, I'm going to go Fields because I feel like he's going to have to do more. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think they're going to have an easy win. I think there's potential, like there's going to be more rushing touchdowns, and he's not going to get the touchdown equity that Sam Howell could get. Or vice versa.
Yeah, you mentioned Brian Robinson is a big buy. I have Robinson at 13 this week.
Yeah.
His consensus is 17, so I'm higher than consensus. Okay. I also think if you are in desperate looking for a desperation running back, Chris Rodriguez for Washington.
Oh yeah,
very,
I got some
very
shares,
deep
yeah.
cut out of. I drafted a few Chris Rodriguez shares myself in the best ball streets, but he is a deep cut University of Kentucky product. A good rusher, good yards after contact per attempt. But with Antonio Gibson expected to miss this game due to a toe injury, I think that you're obviously starting Brian Robinson as a low-end running back 1, and then you're looking at some Chris Rodriguez very late. Okay, we'll keep her moving here with a few other matchups. The Dallas Cowboys, Carolina Panthers. This is in Carolina. Dallas Cowboys travel there. The over-under for the game is 42.5. The Cowboys are 10.5 point favorites on the road. This is one of those classic games, the classic trap games, where Dallas is traveling. The spread is 10 points or more. And we see time and again, teams not only beat the spread, but win the game. Like it's plus 410 for Carolina to win this game. And I don't hate that.
I can't. They just seem to pick on the teams that suck. And these are one of the teams that suck. I like that Frank Reich took back the play calling. I think it's an Adam Thielen week. It's going to be one of those monster weeks for him. I was going to play Hayden Hurst this week because Leighton Vander Esch is out. Oh, Thielen's out too?
Hayden Hurst is out.
Yeah, Hayden. But yeah. I was going to say we play Hayden Hurst this week, but because of that, he's going to have a mismatch at the linebacker position because whoever he's playing against is a second/third stringer.
So you're saying deep cut Tommy Trumbull?
No, he is awful. He's one of the worst players at tight end I've ever seen. But he might get a 1 yard touchdown. Let's just put it that way. Like
he's gotten a couple touchdowns this year.
Yeah, he might if they get it down to the 1 yard line and they don't feel like running it for some reason, they're going to throw a 1 yard touchdown to that guy because that's how it works. But yeah, don't play Tommy Trumbull. It's not worth it.
Okay, so you're saying that this is going to be a Dallas controlled game. Do we finally see a Tony Pollard game?
Yes.
We haven't seen one in a while.
I saw your plane crash. I just lifted off, and I'm like, this has got to be the week. This is Tony Pollard week. So I'm ready to go right here to right back down. So I'm ready for it because I saw yours go. I'm like, it could be. They could just like dominate them, and then like who knows?
And they dominated.
And they dominated them through the air and some little bit of Rico Dowdle love. So I'm like, this is my week to go up in the airplane or the helicopter and crash this week. But I think it's a good matchup. I think you don't want to attack Carolina through the air, but even with J.C. Horn being out, I do think that you want to attack them through the ground. That's where their weak is at.
And my issue with Tony Pollard is he's just not been good on like between the tackles.
Yeah, but he doesn't. That's not why. Why would you play I'm talking to Brian Schottenheimer here. Why would you play a player that's not his skill set? Get him out in open space. Get him out, like throw him a screen. Do what he's best at. Why? This is why I have a problem with Najee as well. It's like I know that he's a good player. I know that nobody else thinks this. I understand that, but like if you put him in the situations where he can excel at, he would do a lot better. But I can't get past that. Like I think that, so they should do it. These coaches are just idiots and put them in terrible spots where they're not going to succeed. And it drives me nuts. And it's like, yes, this should be Tony Pollard week. Every week technically should be Tony Pollard week, but we can't count on Mike McCarthy and Brian Schottenheimer.
No, we cannot. But the one player we can count on for the Dallas Cowboys is CeeDee Lamb. It is Lamb to the moon. He has been the wide receiver 1 over the last 3 weeks by far. 150 or more receiving yards. He's been getting the touchdown equity as well. Crazy. I mean, he looks like the best wide receiver in the NFL over the last few weeks. But there have been some ESPN talking heads saying that Dak Prescott is the best quarterback in the NFL. And look, this is classic.
If we're going to say that,
just
Stroud is.
Don't take the bait, Oh, CJ Stroud is in the MVP conversation. Come on, guys. Like, this is not like we're grasping at straws here because it's old hat to talk about Mahomes. It's old hat to talk about well, I guess we can't talk about Burrow anymore, but like
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts, the Philadelphia Eagles are playing
I'm sorry,
so
Jalen
well.
Hurts is they're almost like where they have one loss, right? Or they have two. They have one loss. Either way,
I think just one.
Brock Purdy has been playing better than Dak has, except for those that he had a 3 weeks skid. But other than that, he's outplayed Dak Prescott. What's his name? Is played out like there's some people that have outplayed Dak Prescott. It drives me nuts. It drives me nuts that narrative. I'm like, everybody just loves the Cowboys, man. Not this year. Not this year. They're going to be disappointed again in the playoffs, unfortunately.
Yeah, Dak Prescott is my quarterback 6 for the week behind Josh Allen. I had him behind Lamar, Tua, Jalen Hurts, and Patrick Mahomes. And then tight end wise, Jake Ferguson is my tight end 10 for right now on the week. So you're probably starting him.
Yeah.
As I said, Tommy Tremble is your desperation dart throw. Put your face, close your eyes and throw a dart. You need a touchdown. You need someone who will probably lead the team in snap share. You need someone with a degree from the University of Notre Dame. I don't know. Maybe I would be qualified then. Who knows? It's either me or Tommy Tremble. But I agree with you. It's Adam Thielen, but also a desperation wide receiver. We know the answer is not Jonathan Mingo. We know the answer isn't Terrace Marshall. We do know that DJ Chark can be an answer, but he is the best of the number 2 receivers behind Thielen. If you need somebody with, let's say you're down by 20 points, a DJ Chark is the type of player who's not going to, his floor is 0, but at least he can access ceilings for you.
How bad are your teams if you're relying on DJ Chark though? Like at what point do we like there's got to be somebody else out there than DJ. I mean, DJ, like, I don't know. In my leagues, like he's so far down there. I feel like we could get somebody better than DJ Chark. Like,
okay, are we DJ Chark or Alan Lazard?
Jesus Christ, can we get better quarterbacks with these guys?
DJ Chark or Quentin Johnston.
There we go. Let's go Quentin Johnson. That's
okay. DJ Chark or Darnell Mooney.
Packers? Darnell Mooney, yeah, because they're going to be in that comeback play. If their offense has been so bad, like it, and they want to run it with Miles Sanders and Chuba Hubbard, and it's like, and honestly, I'm not like here to like say he's going to be a terrible pick, that Bryce Young's going to be bad, but like he's learning this year. Like I don't think the upside of providing a solid number 2 wide receiver is there yet. Like DJ Chark might get a 40-yard touchdown, but that's probably, like his ceiling. But it's not going to be 2. It's probably just going to be the 1 because he's going to complete like 14 passes.
Yeah, Chark has 2 top 24 finishes on the season.
Does he?
One was in week 3 against Seattle where he finished 4 for 86 and a touchdown. The other was against Detroit, 3 for 42 and a touchdown. Hashtag revenge game narrative was present there too. So
who was that against?
He gets
Jags, or was that
Detroit?
Detroit. Okay. Let's see.
Yeah.
Those were both 2 terrible defenses. Dallas is not a terrible defense at the corner position.
Yeah.
So I would go elsewhere. Darnell Mooney is a perfect pick. It looks like sits like he could be more likely to be a wide receiver 24 than DJ Chark. I don't know. DJ Chark. That's a little risky, too risky for me.
Fair enough. All right, we'll move on to the Vegas Raiders and Miami Dolphins. This is the largest spread of the week. Miami hosts the Raiders. The over-under is 46. The Dolphins are 6-3. The Raiders are 5-5, which feels wild that the Raiders are 500 and the Dolphins are only 6-3, given the offense that the Dolphins are, and given the tumult that the Raiders have gone through. We're obviously starting Josh Jacobs. We're starting Devontae Adams in almost every scenario. You have to be in like a 6 or 8 team league to eyebrow raise about Devontae Adams, even though he's had some bad games as of late. But I guess a question would be Jacoby Myers, because Jacoby Myers has very much been affected by this new coaching scheme and new regime and new new game plan, game calling, all of that. Like the game plan has shifted for the Raiders. We just saw today Jacob Johnson cut, like the fullback cut because he didn't fit the scheme. And so Jacoby Myers right now is my wide receiver 39 on the week. Consensus is 36. I'm lower than consensus. How are you viewing Jacoby Myers?
I'm on board with you. I would say it's because the emergence of Michael Mayer is getting his workload. I think that Aiden O'Connell has found like a little bit of a niche with him, with Michael, and obviously he's going to go to first reads, Josh Jacobs and Adams, and then it's Michael Mayer, and now Jacoby's in the fourth spot.
Yeah, Mayer, as you mentioned, over the last 3 weeks has exceeded an 87% snap share each of those 3 weeks. He's played at least 71% of snaps over the last 5. Last week, 3 for 19 and the touchdown, which was really nice. He's had a couple instances where he's had 6, 4, and 5 targets. So he's clearly playing ahead of Austin Hooper, no doubt about that. I would like to see more targets from Mayer. If I want to start, plugging him into, the tight end position. He's not a tight end 1 for me. I think he's a back end tight end 2 with your touchdown upside, touchdown equity. You mentioned that the rookie's probably going to be looking his way, especially given, the Aiden O'Connell probably was practicing a lot this offseason with Mayer with the second team, because Austin Hooper, was getting a lot of that type of work. Believe it or not,
that coaching, man, it blew my mind. I'm like, I was so happy as a Chargers fan that he was still there, because I'm like, oh, that idiot's just, like, we have a dumb coach, but y'all have a dumber coach. Like, we're good. Like, we're going to make the playoffs, but obviously we're not. But
yeah, Mayer right now is my tight end 20 on the week. So low end tight end. That's where I would have put him.
That's what happened too.
On the flip side, we're starting Tua. We're starting Tyreek. We're probably starting Waddle in this matchup.
Yep.
We're not starting any of the tight ends. But are you starting one or both of the running backs?
Yeah.
We're starting both running backs for Miami?
If I had them both and I don't mean, there's not really like great options at the running back position. I mean, at this point, like, they're going to boat race them. I feel this might be another Denver game, because their best like attribute on defense for the Raiders is pass defense. So and Mike McDaniel's not an idiot. He's a smart coach. He's going to run it on them. I mean, he was the running back coach for a reason, and he loves Devin Achane. He said nobody could tackle him this week. I mean, if their own team can't tackle him, the Raiders aren't tackling him.
That may bode very well for starting both of them. I do have Achane at 17. My concern is that he's not going to get back to the 50% snap share that we saw when he rattled off those top 5 weeks pretty easily. But Raheem Mostert also in your top 24, I think is going to be hard for us to find, ways. We want to find reasons to put these guys in our starting lineups. Yeah. But I also am thinking, like, if they put him away by the mid-third quarter, this is a Salvin Ahmed garbage game. This is a Jeff Wilson garbage game. Like, are we talking? This is a 13.5 point spread.
It could be
at home.
I don't know. They might just bring in Mike White and throw some bobs to Chosen Anderson or Robert Chosen.
Chosen Anderson isn't on the team anymore.
He got cut. Okay, my boy Braxton.
Braxton Berrios, desperation flex. You heard it from
Dude, that is my Felix. Guy. I have like 10% Braxton in DK.
Yeah, Braxton Berrios is Felix's spirit animal here.
Oh yeah, dude. What he did in week 17 in 2021, or I guess technically 22 because it was January 1st. He kept it a competitive game against the Buccaneers. So I can only thank him for making Tom Brady throw for a few touchdowns. So that's all I can say.
I love it. We'll keep her moving. This is one of the highest over-unders on the week as well. This Arizona Cardinals at Houston Texans game. This is, we're starting Kyler Murray probably in this matchup. The Cardinals are 2-8. The Texans 5-4. The Texans are one of the biggest surprises. I thought that they were going to be in a lot of trouble this year. And there's still ways that this season can go sideways for them for sure. But like to be at 5-4, not many people thought that the Texans would be where they're at this point in the season. CJ Stroud, I mean, the fact that ESPN people have been saying, oh, he's an MVP candidate, blah, 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 I think is less of a testament to that, like actually becoming reality, but more so that he's just outperformed expectations on a team that we thought would be really, really bad. Yeah. So you're starting CJ Stroud this week. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I have such a hard time because I don't play too much. Like I have like 10 teams on redraft, but my main focus is on DFS. And I would say like this is the easiest game and probably the most popular game. This is probably, some of the worst defenses that are out there on both sides. And they both kind of like to pass the ball a bunch. I know James Conner is a really good play here too. But if I was to pick between these two quarterbacks, I'd probably go Stroud. Because he's getting all his options back.
He is not. Noah Brown is out for this game.
But Nico is coming in, right?
Nico is back.
Okay, is back. Noah Brown was, whatever. We got Robert Woods coming back, I think, potentially. We got Nico.
Tank Dell.
We got the guys back. And obviously Tank Dell. Tank Dell's like
Tank Dell, Nico, there. Robert Woods. Noah Brown is out for this game, though.
Yeah, that's okay.
So
he was a flash in the pan.
It's not okay. He was playing really well. I picked him up waivers in like my start 6 wide receiver league, and I needed Noah Brown.
Oh no, I didn't touch him. I thought he was a flash. I thought he'd have a couple good weeks, and I thought he'll probably do what he kind of is doing now and getting too much work for somebody that doesn't get enough work on a regular basis.
Well, Tank Dell I have at wide receiver 20 on the week.
What do you got, Nico?
And Nico is at 27.
That's good. I was going to say you should have him behind him. I think Nico is for the big plays. I know Tank Dell can have big plays, but it's like Nico's only there for the big splash, 20-yard to 30-yard plays, like deep down the field. And you're going to get more consistent work out of Tank Dell. And they obviously have that great connection too.
Whereas Dalton Schultz, tight end 8 for me on the week. He's very much in the start conversation. It's going to be like you're starting Kittle over him. You're starting McBride. You're starting Kincaid, Laporta. You were starting Andrews. Unfortunately, that just didn't work out. But Hawkinson and Kelsey. But that's it. Like you're not starting Cole Kmet, over Dalton Schultz at this point.
Some people.
Sorry.
Would. Some people would.
Some people. Some people might, and they would be wrong. But
just saying, this is the week to play Cole Kmet. I agree. Dalton Schultz is becoming like a nice tight end at like there because of Tank Dell opening up so much of the field. Like with Tank Dell, with having a good wide receivers and a good play calling, decent play calling at least, and passing for like a lot. It's just allowing him to eat up the easy yards down the field.
Yeah, over the last 6 games, these have been the weekly finishes for Dalton Schultz. Tight end 6, tight end 6, tight end 2, tight end 35, tight end 1, and tight end 8.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dalton Schultz, you're starting.
Is that PPR or is that half PPR?
I think this is PPR ranks. Yeah. Still. Regardless, it's pretty close. Regardless of format. Yeah. Let's see. Devin Singletary. You keep going.
Oh yeah. Well, I was like, he's kind of a PPR monster. That's all I was putting on the end of that. Singletary. I love Singletary personally, but again, he was on my million-making winning team, and he got like people say he's not a good running back when he came over from the Buffalo Bills, and that he was just gonna succeed. And it's like he was a really good running back. Dameon Pierce wasn't ready for the huge workload that he got his rookie year, and I think he needs like a back like this. And obviously, he's hurt this week, so I think Devin Singletary is shown that he can handle a full workload at any point. So I think if you have to play him, or if, it's not like I don't know if this is the greatest week to play him, but I think he could easily provide a low RB1, higher end RB2 numbers this week.
His consensus is running back 20. I have him at 15 this week.
Yeah, I'm more closer to you than them.
Yeah. Last week against Cincinnati in a competitive game that had a game total of 57 points, Devin Singletary handled 30 carries, 150 yards. He also had two targets, one reception for 11 yards, finished as the running back. Oh, let it load. 3 in half PPR. So that was like really surprising because he had not had a top 24 finish at all throughout the season. And Dameon Pierce officially ruled out for this game today. So we expect a pretty heavy workload yet again for Devin Singletary. I don't think top 5 or top 10 is a good bet, but top 15 is where I have him right now.
But he has the upside of a top 5 running back. I mean, he has the upside. Whether they use it that way, I think, that's up to the Texans. Really, you can't predict with how they're gonna run this week, because the Cardinals have a decent run defense. Their pass defense is okay. Like they can easily just route them, and it could be. I don't even know who the backup is. Is it Dawari Obug? I can't say that dude's name.
Dari Ogumbawale.
Yeah, that dude. Is that the backup?
Look, Felix, I spend hours every day practicing the ridiculous names that I'm going to have to try to pronounce, like Albert Okuagbunam. I spent hours practicing. Yeah, Albert Okuagbunam. Dario Gumbawale is the backup kicker, but he is expected to be the number 3 back behind Mike Boone for this game.
Oh, okay. Mike Boone's a really good pass catching running back too, so
he is.
If they're behind, I guess he could be used, but
remember when Boone was on the Vikings, and this was like the 2020 season when it was Dalvin Cook and Alexander Madison both out, and it was week like 16 or 17,
and he got
and he was
sorry. Go ahead.
He was terrible the one week when we needed him, and then he was great the next week when we didn't need him.
Yes. That was exactly. Everybody's like, "Oh, this is the Mike Boone smash!" Blah 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 blah. I'm like, okay. I think I played one share in the Millie Maker that week, and I was like, "You guys are idiots. You guys don't know anything." And then I was like, "Obviously not gonna play him this week." And then of course it was the week he popped off. There was a guy. They had another guy. It was like a Samoan guy who played, I think, like better than him that week. And I was like, "Oh, dude, why did everybody say to play Mike Boone when this guy's a stud?" He was like running at like 5.8 speed down the field.
Yikes. Yeah, Booner let us down in the championship for sure. So, guys, I know you're at. I see the comments in the chat, and a lot of them are start-sit questions, and we might be able to answer some start-sit questions later on. But if you guys want to check out my rankings, go to bestbellfantasy.com and click on rankings, and you go to weekly rankings. And I have them uploaded and synced from Fantasy Pros, and I update them regularly. So I'll update them tomorrow before my show on Player Profiler with Billy Muzio. If you guys want to check that out, we do straight up start sit-em talk at 9 p.m. Eastern on Saturdays. And that show is called The Dominator on Player Profiler. So check that show out if you want to ask some more start-sit questions. Felix is just a superstar answering a lot of these questions and diving deep into these matchups. He's been crushing it so far. Also a great friend in the industry. Make sure you guys are following him at Crying Buffalo, Best Ball Nation as well. Make sure you guys are subscribing over the YouTube channel. Felix puts out some really awesome content over there. We'll flip the script to the Arizona Cardinals. Kyler Murray came back and looked like his old self pretty much. Not really missing a beat. James Conner was a little disappointing, but with Demare,
he's out. Whatever his name is.
DeMercado out. DeMercado out. James Conner finishes the running back 34 last week, 16 for 73 on the ground. Fine. You're going to get 73 rushing yards. You're not going to scoff at the volume. No. But Michael Carter was also signed. I think it's still going to shake out. I don't think it really moves the needle much for me at all about James Conner.
When
he's running back too.
When the running back got signed, or whatever. Sorry, when the coach got signed there, he said he was excited to run James Conner up the middle. This dude wants to just run him until he gets hurt right up the gut. So I would say, yeah, if you have him to play him, hopefully he gets a touchdown because this dude just wants to run him up the gut. Kyler Murray looked amazing for his first week back. He looked on point. He looked sharp. Maybe that's what he needed. Maybe he needed like a refresh on football. Maybe he needed like some time to focus on football. And Michael Wilson and Trey McBride and Marquise Brown are just smash plays on DFS. They're still too cheap. I think this matchup allows them to attack that area. I think if you're playing DFS, this is going to be a highly owned game. You could probably pick different ways to overdraft it, like get a whole bunch of that game, and then maybe get elsewhere a little bit different. I don't know. That's how I'm going to attack it on DFS. In regular, I mean, I'm just happy to have, one share of James Conner that I did with Davis Pang Jumanji on Twitter, and I was happy to have my one share of James Conner.
Conner, I have at running back 22 this week. He's consensus 19, so I'm a little bit lower, but that's okay. Still back end running back 2, whereas Hollywood I have at wide receiver 24. Michael Wilson I have all the way down at wide receiver 47. And Trey McBride, as I mentioned earlier, is a top 8 tight end. I have him at tight end 6 on the week. So you're starting Trey McBride. You're probably starting Hollywood Brown. Michael Wilson is an eyebrow-raising flex. And then you're probably starting James Conner as a back-end running back too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it feels good. That offense feels good all of a sudden. I like Dobbs, but I couldn't trust Dobbs to run the offense. It felt so inconsistent. And with Kyler Murray in there, I feel like all the weapons have a chance to explode.
Yes, there's more possibility of big games. Speaking of big games, a big game for the Jacksonville Jaguars is against the Tennessee Titans here. The Titans are 3-6. The Jags are 6-3, but the Jags haven't felt 6-3. They've definitely felt like a 5-5 team, especially recently, given Trevor Lawrence's struggles and the question of whether or not Zay Jones is going to play for this game. Trevor Lawrence, 17-29, only finished with about 4 fantasy points last week against a tough San Francisco defense. Zay Jones officially questionable with the knee. He was also arrested for the misdemeanor domestic battery charge that could lead to a suspension later, but he is questionable for this game. I don't have optimism that he's going to play just because he's been missing so many games with the knee injury.
I agree. I mean, I love Zay Jones. He's a flashy player. He brings, I feel like his other teammates up because he's just another weapon out there, but I don't think he's injured. It's there's bad juju around it. You don't want to. You played Zay Jones. You're asking for trouble. He could easily drop you a 0. Obviously, if he doesn't play, don't play him. But I think the only thing that Zay Jones does is apparently make Calvin Ridley look good. So I mean, if he's there, he plays well. But regardless, I still think I want to play Calvin Ridley this week. I think I'm on the let's get back on the train station this week with bringing Tony Pollard. Let's bring in Calvin Ridley for some good plays. Yeah, that's what I'm on. I'm on the Calvin Ridley, Evan Ingram train this week. I don't know. It's maybe because I've always loved playing tight ends against the Titans and Cardinals. I've always done that, but I just think that they are a pass funnel, and I think even though they have had success, people have had success this year running the ball against them. I do think they want to get Trevor Lawrence back and going and throw him into the MVP, caliber type player. I feel like people are going to just shove him out there if he has a really good game.
And if, the Jaguars go to 7-3, the record looks good, and the quarterback on a really good team should always be in the MVP conversation, right?
Yep.
Yeah, especially if they, smash the Titans.
Yeah.
So I hope that Zay Jones plays for exactly the reasons you mentioned. This is why I bring Felix on, because he confirms all of my theories about why Calvin Ridley has not hit this year. Ridley right now is the wide receiver 43 in fantasy points on the season. It's been a really disappointing year. Christian Kirk, on the other hand, you're probably starting him as a mid-pack wide receiver too. He's wide receiver 19. in fantasy points. And you're finding reasons to put Christian Kirk into your lineup. He's coming off a 16-point game against the San Francisco 49ers. I have Kirk ranked at wide receiver 22 and Calvin Ridley down at wide receiver 30 this week.
Okay, so on DFS, they have Jacoby Myers ranked more expensive than Christian Kirk. I think that's just a mistake. I think if you're going between those two options, I think you 100% smash Kirk. You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't make
all
sense.
Of the Kirk.
Like, yeah, like, and Calvin Ridley's like $600 or $400 cheaper than him. It's just wild. Like, there's some like mispriced players, I think. Yeah, he's $700 cheaper than Jacoby Myers. Like, I think you, if you're going to play DFS this week, I think I'm personally playing the Jags this week as like a get back game. You know, everybody has a really good game after they play the 49ers because it's like, oh, such a relief. We're not getting sacked every 5 seconds. So if I were you, like, I'd have a little bit of the Jags in all of your games.
Yeah, a little bit of Jags, but 100% of Travis Etienne. We are absolutely starting him. He's been a beautiful play when you were drafting him in round 4 this year. I know he had a tough game against San Francisco, but it's, you know, the only time. Okay, he's had 2 games this year where he hasn't finished better than running back 22. Okay, like, he's played so well, and then you get, I know Tennessee is usually pretty tough against the run, but what? He's going to finish as running back 10? He's going to finish as running back 12? Like, give me a break. Like, he's going to do very well for us, and we love the targets. Okay,
yeah.
I don't know if you realize this, Felix, but he has an outstanding amount of targets. 5, 3, 5, 3, 5, 3, 5, 6, 4. Like, this is what you want from a top tier running back 1.
Somewhere around 5 targets every week. That is like, that's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. And turning them into yardage and possible receiving touchdowns. Yeah. Travis Etienne. Is Etienne a first round pick next year in early best ball drafts?
No. I like him, but I don't think that he is. I think he's going to, there's a lot of season left to play. And if he continues this pace, yes. But I think, you know, when everybody sees CMC, that he's going to get, you know, top. I think there's just too many good wide receivers that are going to go higher. I think he's the back end.
Well, you're drafting Etienne over Bijan, right? And way too early. Yes. No, because they're going to get fired. They're going to fire Arthur Smith at the end of this year, and Bijan's going to look amazing because they're like, oh, Bijan's like a 1 in a million talent here. Let's actually play him. Like, whoa. So no, I would 100% take Bijan over Travis. Okay, interesting. I like that take. Not bold, but
no,
it's not bold, but it is not a common thought. I mean, it's what a wish. We wish that Arthur Smith would not be there for our fantasy takes, but certainly
I think Breece Hall
Felix dropping some. Oh, you think Breece Hall?
Yeah, if Aaron Rodgers comes back next year, and him being another year healthy and removed from the ACL injury, I think I personally would take Breece Hall over him.
Okay, Breece Hall or Christian McCaffrey next year?
Is he still in the 49ers? I would say Christian McCaffrey, yeah.
Okay. I agree, but it's a lot closer.
Yeah, it's a lot closer this year or next year.
It's really close next year. I'm here for all the Breece Hall. Because Dalvin Cook is going to go away. Michael Carter.
He's not even going to be on the team next year. Yeah.
No.
Izzy A is going to be the backup.
It's going to be, Israel Abanikanda is going to be the back we want in way too early drafts for the New York Jets.
So on YouTube, I'm subscribed to the New York Jets, like, press conferences and stuff. I don't remember subscribing. I think I did it whenever I had Elijah Moore on the team, but whatever. Like, I saw like the clip though. It's like it was like a comment on like Michael on why they cut him, and I almost called him Michael Carter, why they cut him. It was like it's time to get a little bit like something about Izzy A. Like it's time to see Izzy and stuff like that. So I think, honestly, I think Izzy might be the back, like the like RB number 2 at the end of next after Sunday. Because Dalvin's not bringing anything to this team, honestly. Like he is not. He is not bringing anything to this game. I agree with you.
the Israel Banakanda is going to be the handcuff that we want, maybe for the rest of the season. If he's hanging out on your waiver wire, you got some deep benches, and Israel Banakanda is not picked up, pick him up. He was a 90 plus PFF rush grade guy out of the University of Pittsburgh, drafted by the Jets. And he had a good profile. I thought that he was going to be drafted a little bit earlier, maybe a 3rd or 4th round pick, but he fell a little bit in the draft, I think because of the lack of pass catching and a couple other reasons. But ultimately, Israel Banakanda, he's got the speed, he's got the juice, and I think he could be a really nice handcuff. I agree with you. Izzy is the way to go. Let's flip to the Tennessee Titans. We've spent a lot of time on the Jags.
Oh, yeah.
Will Levis Will Levis is passing the eye test, but the low volume plus, the rookie bumps are just going to exist for this first year. We also have to remember that Levis was not getting first team reps at all in the offseason. So this is his preseason. This is him working through, and he was inactive. He wasn't even, getting some work in the blowout games that existed earlier in the season. And this season could very well get lost pretty quickly. It's already a 3-6 season for the Titans. They're going to have to battle. And it's unfortunate that we're now left with just DeAndre Hopkins, and then now Kyle Phillips is possibly the wide receiver 2 here. Chigakonkwo also not a thing this year, like I told everybody. But
yeah, I was on the other side of that. It's been a bad year. His tight end matchups is what I was going for, and he's got another good one this week. I know that it's Will Levis throw the ball out there. He's giving me Jake Cutler vibes, Will Levis, and
which could be worse. Jake Cutler was
he's
okay
gonna throw
fantasy from time to time.
He's gonna have like a 16-yard run and then a boneheaded turnover. It's gonna be kind of that what you deal with him. He's not afraid of triple coverage. That's what this guy is.
When you put mayo in your coffee, that's what you're gonna get.
You're getting spicy, baby.
You're starting Derrick Henry still. Your desperation flex starting Tazi Spears, but Spears needs to be rostered on every single team.
100%.
This is it's possible that Tazi Spears is the missing piece to a championship winning team.
Yeah, 100%. Because
that's the type of upside he is.
He has the pass catching ability. He can handle a decent workload, and if it's going poorly, Derrick Henry might come up with a injury so he doesn't, waste a good season, or get hurt going into another season. I think TJ Spears needs to be rostered on all rosters. It's kind of weird if it isn't.
Yes, you need to be doing that. We'll flip the script now to the Giants Commanders game. It's the over-under is 37.5. It's gross. It's disgusting. The Commanders are 8.5 point favorites at home. The Giants are rolling out Tommy DeVito. You're starting Saquon Barkley, and that's it on the Giants. Wan'Dale Robinson in desperation. Flex 32 team leagues, maybe. But Sam Howell, we'll just flip. We know it's Saquon Barkley. We'll move to Washington.
You can play if you got the defense, you can play the Giants defense, because Sam Howell he doesn't make good decisions all the time, and though they shorten up his dropbacks to 3 steps, he can still get sacked. I'm playing the Giants defense on DFS this week just to get a little different, and I think it's not a half bad defense to play for them. I'm not suggesting any other play on the offense. I would bet the unders on all wide receivers. It's bad out there. Tommy DeVito is not it. Literally anybody else. Unfortunately, because I love
Tommy DeVito. Yikes. Tommy DeVito. Woof. We will go to Washington. Sam Howell is I think I have him in the top 10, top 12 of quarterbacks this week. Howell is 10 for me. Brian Robinson, as I mentioned, is a top 13 running back for me. The ECR is 17, so I am higher than consensus on Brian Robinson. We kind of hit on that. Antonio Gibson not expected to play, so as I mentioned earlier, Chris Rodriguez is a real deep running back cut, especially if this game gets out of hand. You could see the Washington Commanders giving a little bit more to Chris Rodriguez. Terry McLaurin is playable. Jahan Dotson is playable. Curtis Samuel is playable. Logan Thomas is playable. Those guys are all in play. There's not like, oh, this is a great matchup. Oh, we need to be starting. This is going to be explosive. All of them have like a roll of the dice chance to have a good game. And like 2 of those 4 guys are going to hit.
The only one I think is that has the best, like easiest, like is going to have a solid game is Brian Robinson. He lost his main backup, main guy there. They're going to want to, Ron Rivera is not, the wild card Ron anymore. He's just going to play it safe. They're going to throw it because Eric Bieniemy's out there, but like it's going to be a lot of B-Rob out there, I think.
A lot of B-Rob is the way we're going to go here. All right, before we move on to the next matchup, your thoughts, Felix, on the Bill Belichick to Washington rumors that have been swirling. What are your thoughts on Bill Belichick getting traded to the Washington Commanders?
No, he's coming to LA, baby. Coming to LA. We're getting our boy, the guy that killed us in all the playoffs back in 05 and 06. We're getting Bill Belichick to the Chargers, baby. That's what's happening. Bieniemy is going to be the head coach. They're going to cut Ron Rivera, and Bieniemy is going to be the coach by the end of the year when they're out of the playoffs.
Probably the case, but I think Sam Howell deserves to get a few more years here. He's played well enough, and he's kept them in games.
I think what you've seen, he's going to progress. He is like a bad version of Josh Allen. He's not like big and physical like him, but he's going to, and a little bit Joe Burrow, like he waits so long. Like he's okay with taking sacks to let a play open up. He's not going to just throw it out of bounds. He wants to make the play. So like, I like Sam Howell not only for fantasy, I think he's actually a decent quarterback. I don't think he's like top tier, but I think
he's got his
in the
flaws,
top half.
But
he's better than Daniel Jones, who is like on the bottom end of the totem pole.
Yikes. Yeah, it's true. Speaking of the Chargers, they take on my beloved Packers in Green Bay. The Packers are 3-6, just like I thought they would be. And the Chargers are 4-5. Disappointing so far for the Chargers, but they have lost Mike Williams. They have lost
Palmer.
Palmer. They
Everett's
have
out
lost
this
Gerald
week.
Everett for this game. Gerald Everett is out, so Donald Parham is in play at the tight end position. Austin Eckler obviously is starting him. Justin Herbert is quarterback 8 for me this week. So I do have him ahead of Sam Howell and ahead of Jared Goff, but behind Stroud, behind Prescott this week. Yeah, I think this is a Keenan Allen game. I'm still not putting Quentin Johnson into my lineup until we see more.
I wouldn't put too much into Keenan. I think he'll have a good game, but I don't think he's going to have a great game. I think
Jair Alexander is questionable.
Well, Keenan Allen's questionable. Like he barely made it back into those games. I mean, he was getting smacked around. I mean, as a Chargers fan, you watch the games, of your teams, and he was getting beat up. And he might tough it out and might have like a humongous game, but like those 200 yards were earned last week. And I think he might have like a 7 catch for 80 yards. I think this is going to be a lot of Austin Eckler and Josh Kelly, knowing that we could take advantage of the Packers on the ground. I think it could be a lot of like dump off passes to Eckler and like run right up the gut with Josh Kelly.
I like the Josh Kelly call. Isaiah Spiller, very questionable for this game as well. So we'll monitor that. But I agree with you. Josh Kelly in the play here. Jalen Guyton as a very deep dart throw flex possibility.
Look good out there.
And Parham as your desperation tight end. Yeah. On the flip side, Jordan Love.
Let's go. I need him.
Jordan Love has got to go.
I need him to show up.
Go.
No, I need him to show up. I need him to show up. I need him so badly. You don't understand. My best ball shares rely everything on Jordan Love. I bet so hard on the Packers this year. And I don't even think it's Jordan Love that's failed me. It's Christian Watson that's failed me so poorly. That man, he can't get a pass near him, but like, come on, like you took 3 weeks off. Like, can we just like get it going a little bit so we can help old Felix here make some money in best ball? Holy cow, man.
Jordan Love, he has 5 top 12 finishes on the season.
Oh yeah. He had a good week last week and that loss.
He finished as quarterback 12 last week against Pittsburgh because he had 2 touchdowns, but he also threw 2 interceptions. Still a completion percentage of 52.5%. He is objectively, from all the efficiency metrics, one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL, but his wide receivers are making plays, especially Dobbs and Jaden Reed and Dontavian Wicks. Like, those guys are stepping up. Christian Watson, something is still just not right with him.
Yeah.
And I think that has to do with the coaching.
I was like the play calls are just not set. Like, it's like they didn't watch the games last year. I mean, he got that touchdown against the Eagles doing a crossing route. I don't know how many crossing routes I've seen this year, but it hasn't been very many. And when I did, he got hurt on it on the last play of the game like 2 weeks ago. But like, I mean, come on.
Like, they are not manufacturing touches for objectively the best offensive player on the team. That's just not debatable. Like, Christian Watson is the athletic freak. He has the previous production. His yards per route run the first couple games of when he returned even was really good. And it was reflective of his 2022 campaign where he was, top 12 in yards per route run.
Honestly, you kind of hope that he makes like one of those big crybaby moves where he's like, give me the ball kind of thing. It's like, because if he did get the ball, I just feel like he would make plays. He's not like one of those that just falls down. He makes plays. Dobbs is the guy that just falls down and he gets tackled. Watson will make plays. Like, I don't know. Just manufacture for him and then make Dobbs, who was like the most amazing deep threat that I'd ever seen coming out of Nevada. The dude was like, would get behind every defense he ever played. It was amazing. So I like all those plays. In fact, I like Aaron Jones a lot here. The running backs the Chargers have always been susceptible to the run.
Yes.
And I feel like we haven't gone against too many good rushers. So it may like look like we're like decent against running backs, but in all reality, we're like terrible against running backs. And I think Aaron Jones could easily go for 120 here in all total yards.
Yeah, I think that's very much within the range of outcomes. I have Aaron Jones at running back 10 this week against the Chargers. I have A.J. Dillon down at running back 38. I feel like I'm a little too low on Dillon, but I mean, I'll probably move him up with Antonio Gibson expected to miss, with Donta Foreman expected to move down a little bit. Like, I haven't made those adjustments with Khalil Herbert and Antonio Gibson and a few other items. So I think that like maybe mid to high 30s is probably best for A.J. Dillon at this point, but we can't have a lot of optimism about all of the other pieces because whoever falls in the end zone is going to be the guy who, is our fantasy relevant player. And there's only going to be 1 or 2 touchdowns and maybe some field goals.
I don't know. This might be a sneaky shootout. It might be a sneaky shootout. Our defenses aren't great. The quarterbacks at least throw it to their wide receivers. Like the pace of play might be slow on the Packer side, but the pace of play on the Charger side is going to be pretty quick. So there's going to be a lot of time for the Packers to have a lot more plays this week. It might be like a higher scoring game. It could be.
Well, we will keep going here. Felix has been an absolute warrior as we've been making our way through these game previews. The Pittsburgh Steelers take on the Cleveland Browns in what we expect to be a really pathetic game. The over-under is 33. Dorian Thompson-Robinson expected to start for the Cleveland Browns. Jerome Ford is a flex play. Kareem Hunt is a goal line flex play. Amari Cooper is a wide receiver 3 in this game. David Njoku still in that wide receiver or tight end, high end tight end 2, low end tight end 1 conversation. But you have to like move everybody down like a tier for the Cleveland Browns. Like Jerome Ford was a running back 2. Now he's a flex play. Kareem Hunt was a borderline running back 2. Now he's definitely a low end flex. Cooper, same thing. Like they're just moved down tiers is how I view Dorian Thompson-Robinson, especially in this game here.
Yeah, it's not. Sorry, my wife's dying back there. It's such a. It sucks that all these quarterbacks are getting hurt, man. It's like it makes it so hard to play. It lowers the wide receivers down a whole bunch. Then Njoku was coming off that great game, looking like a monster out there, just dragging people. I mean, I think the only play is like a low end Njoku here. DTR on DFS is 4,500, is about bare minimum as you can go. It's just like if he falls into the end zone or scores 10, 12 points by it's not terrible. Look, the Pittsburgh defense, like DBs, are not good. They're average at best. Joey Porter Jr. is like the next up and coming, but that's it. So maybe it's Elijah Moore. I think Njoku could be. So if you're playing DFS, a naked DTR just to have a cheap quarterback and you can get smashed some other plays might be a play, but regular DFS or regular leagues, I would say just kind of stay away if you can.
And then on the Pittsburgh side, Jaylen Warren was announced as the starter last week over Najee Harris. This is the crying part of crying Buffalo for Felix. And Jaylen Warren's played very, very well this year. I think both are flex plays at this point.
Okay, so let's be honest here, though. He got announced as starter last Saturday to the team, not to anybody else. They still had like very similar work. Najee still got the first touchdown. Jaylen Warren also got a touchdown. They scored about exactly the same. So him being announced the starter, does that really mean anything? Like they're sharing the workload. They both actually, I think, coming off that Liz Frank injury, at the beginning of last year, and I think he's actually looking pretty good this year. I think Jaylen Warren does look better. I will say that. But Najee hasn't looked this. Yeah, I am a little bit. But Najee doesn't look bad. People are saying he's not explosive. The man has like 8 or 9 20-yard plus plays this year. So the fact that everybody says he can't, and Liam Murphy, go put it up your butt. He has had a lot of good plays this year. And the offense doesn't look good, but that's not because of Najee.
It's true. It's not because of Najee. Deontay Johnson's return has hampered George Pickens. Pickens is a dog, but he's not the alpha.
No.
There's a difference there. He's definitely got the dog in him, but he's not the alpha. Deontay Johnson is the alpha wide receiver on this team, and that's why he's going to continue to get targets. He did have a down week last week with only 4 targets, 1 reception against the Green Bay Packers. But I expect, Deontay Johnson to still get his normal target share of about 25 to 30% against a Cleveland team that has been pretty stifling, overall, still has had some susceptible moments. But Deontay Johnson, I think, is a play here. George Pickens is a desperation flex. And Pat Freiermuth may be returning. I don't know if we've seen him officially activated off of IR, but he's listed as questionable and has turned in full practice. Yeah. So we'll see. He is expected, based on some of the reports I'm reading right now, to return. But I don't know if we can plug him in as a pretty confident play first week back against the Cleveland Browns.
I mean, if you have Kmet, play Kmet over him. Like,
yes.
I don't know. Like, I don't think you want to play, not against this defense. Like, I don't think you really want to play anybody against this defense. If you have better options, play them against this defense, like not against this defense.
Okay, this is tight end 15. Are we going with Cade Otton or Pat Freiermuth?
Personally, I would go Cade Otton and not feel good about it, but he's such a boomer bust kind of play. But I honestly don't know how much work. Like, I think if it was up to Mike Tomlin and Matt Canada, they would just run the ball the entire time or throw it to Deontay Johnson. Like, I don't think they want to throw it to Pickens. And
no,
I think fourth quarter it comes to Pickens and like, I guess we'll have to throw it to you. But I think they'll have enough of a lead in this game that it's going to actually I don't want to say this because I feel like I've looked like an idiot saying this over and over again, but I think this might be a Najee week where they get like they get a lead, right? They get a lead, and then all they do is just try to like limit the plays and limit the mistakes and just give it to Najee. So it'll be
It
like
is
Najee
Cleveland
for
Browns
like
minus
22
1.5.
carries. I don't think. I think it'll be Najee for like 22 carries and like 70 yards. Like something not great. Look at, but it'll get the job.
But he
done.
might fall in the end zone.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. They'll play quarterback sneak
Okay.
it. They're one of these people that quarterback sneak it, and they have no idea how to do it. He just falls down behind the line, and I'm like, you don't know what you're doing back there, Pickett. Like, no.
But we've got a couple more games still. Felix has been an absolute warrior. Make sure you guys are following him on Twitter at Crying Buffalo. Make sure you're checking out his YouTube channel, Bestball Nation. Been crushing it on all things best ball, but also a great friend in the industry. I appreciate you taking the time out tonight to just give the people what they need in terms of DFS, in terms of start sits, in terms of rankings, in terms of outlook for this week 11 set of matchups. Felix, we've got Tampa Bay at San Francisco. The spread is 49ers by 12, over unders 41.5. Woof. Here's my thoughts though. If the offensive line for Tampa can hold up and even just a couple plays, this could be an enormous Mike Evans game. The secondary for the San Francisco 49ers has been very vulnerable. And Mike Evans is looking like his 26-year-old, former self, where he was just an absolute monster. And he's putting up we haven't seen these types of numbers in a while from Mike Evans. So give me some Mike Evans spike week potential in a game where I think that the Bucs play more valiantly than what the spread and what the game totals indicate for this matchup in San Francisco. What do you think?
Yeah, that's a great call with Mike Evans. I just think you could pick on the wide receiver, like the cornerbacks there. So, but they had that bye week, they got Chase Young in there. They just made it so much harder on everybody else. And going back to now, thinking about that Cade Otton Freiermuth, man, let's go to option C, whatever that is, because anything will be better than that pick because they defend the tight end very well. There, man, that looking back at it, that was a tough call. Yeah, I think the wide receivers crush here. I think you can play Rachaad White, thinking that it could be trying to catch up game because the 49ers are looking awfully healthy and they could put a beat down or put up some points early on. Baker Mayfield is susceptible to throwing interceptions, getting behind in games occasionally, making the turnovers. Rachaad White's kind of, he's a good player, but when you're coming against men, it's, Bosa and Young, you're going to fumble that ball probably at least once. It's nothing against him. It's just going to happen.
Yep.
Yeah, I think there's going to be some turnovers, but I think it could lead to big points for Mike Evans because they're going to be behind, and all it takes is a couple deep balls for Mike, and he's the best at OPI and getting away with it.
So here's something interesting. Mayfield, 14 touchdown passes, only 5 interceptions on the season. This looks very reminiscent to his 2020 season with Cleveland, where, he was pretty efficient, throwing for the yardage, not throwing a lot of interceptions. I agree with you. The offense looks pretty good. Baker Mayfield has been the quarterback 10, quarterback 7, and quarterback 10, and over the last 3 weeks. And before that, the 4th week, he was quarterback 11. He's been a top 12 quarterback each of the last 4 weeks against Atlanta, which we expected, Buffalo, which was shootout potential, Houston was shootout potential, and then Tennessee had a bad secondary. Now you've got San Francisco does have a bad secondary, but a tough front 7. If that offensive line can hold up, we can also see this game becoming especially if they're trying to catch up. You mentioned Rashad White, lots of dump offs to Rashad White.
Yeah.
White right now for me is running back number 20, but ECR is 22, so I'm a little ahead of the consensus.
Yeah, man, it's just, I don't know. I could just see like it going poorly, but either way, like I think they're gonna have the possibilities to keep passing. I don't know. I could be wrong. It's such a tricky game because it could have so many different variations to it, but
there are a lot of pathways that game can go, but Vegas has it as a low over under with the spread very much in favor of San Francisco at home. Purdy is looking healthy. He's looking good. McCaffrey, obviously healthy. Ayuk and Debo are obviously healthy. And George Kittle, like as you mentioned, the 49ers are at full strength. They are ready to roll. So this game, I'm taking the over on 41.5, I think.
Oh yeah, it's going to be, as much as I'm trying to give praise to the Buccaneers, I have a feeling it's going to be like 48-17. Like it's going to be a demolishing. I feel like the 49ers want to show like who's got the biggest, in the industry right now. Like, yeah, and they're going to try to push Brock Purdy to be the MVP. Like that or CMC. I'm not really sure who they're trying to push, but like they're going to try to show like we're the best we're the best out there. Everybody should be talking about us.
A statement game is what Felix is saying. Another game that's going to be very interesting is the matchup between, surprisingly, the Jets at 4-5 and the Bills at 5-5. The Bills only have about a 25% chance of making the playoffs after that loss.
Yeah.
And they fired their offensive coordinator, Ken Dorsey. Joe Brady takes over as the new offensive coordinator. And now we've got Allen and the Bills at home. It's very interesting because we saw this matchup happen earlier in the season, and Josh Allen finished as the quarterback 20.
Yeah, it didn't look good
against the Jets week 1. Man. He threw 3 interceptions, only 1 touchdown, and was just awful. He was just awful. And Gabe Davis that week was wide receiver 69, 2 receptions for 32 yards. This was an absolute disaster showing the first time out. And now, Diggs has been trying to quash the, trouble in paradise narrative. But, I mean, at least he did well against the Jets first time out, 10 for 102 and the touchdown on 13 targets. He was the wide receiver 4 that week. You're auto starting Diggs. You're benching Gabe Davis against the Jets.
I don't know if you're auto starting Diggs. I don't know if you're playing like it's. I mean, obviously he's your first round pick. He's your talent, but I wouldn't want to play him. I don't know. Like,
who else do you have that's better?
But it doesn't matter if he's better.
Is it Mike Evans or Stephon Diggs?
Well, I'm playing Evans all day. Take that chance because like that they're not going to, even with him whining and getting his brother involved to see more touches. I don't see him.
This is a squeaky wheel gets the grease,
You think so?
Scenario.
I don't know, man. Like they've been owned by them for the last like year and a half. I don't know. Like I would play Kincaid if he's smart, he dumps it off and it's a lot of dump offs.
Yes.
But he's not smart. So like I'm seeing him throw 40 yards to Gabe Davis getting picked off. Like that's what I see. And I hate to say that because I love Josh Allen. Like he's such a good player. But
okay, you said Mike Evans, who I have at wide receiver 13 this week.
Yeah.
Over Stephon Diggs, I have at wide receiver 8 this week. I'm gonna keep listing some names, and I want like line of demarcation here.
Okay.
DK Metcalf.
Oh, DK, he has a good matchup this week, doesn't he? He
has the Rams.
Yeah, that's a great matchup for him. Him and Cooper are gonna kill this week. That's gonna be. We'll talk about that one in a little bit. Yeah. I'll take DK.
Okay, DeAndre Hopkins or Diggs.
Okay, I'll take Diggs. That's where it's at.
Okay, how about Puka Nacua?
See, I like that game as a sneaky shootout because they're not like the greatest. So I'll take Puka and as if I need a higher upside pick.
Terry McLaurin.
I'm gonna go Diggs. I have a fascination hate for Terry McLaurin.
Okay, last
know why.
one. Devonta Smith.
Oh, Devontae Smith is gonna smash with Dallas Goedert out, man. It's gonna be crazy. Like he succeeded. So, his numbers spiked when Dallas Goedert went out. Like they went up. Like I would take Devontae Smith almost over a lot of people. Let's put it that way. And going against the Chiefs, like he destroyed the Chiefs last year in the Super Bowl, and I can only imagine it's just gonna look better. Like they're gonna want to put a statement game out there against the Chiefs.
Well, James Cook fumbled like a bunch of times in this game, like at least twice. A third one could have been the case, on the botched handoff. He did have 120 total yards on 14 touches against Denver on only 46% snaps, which is the second time all year that he eclipsed 100 rushing yards. But, new offensive coordinator. It's against the Jets, and the last time he faced the Jets, 12 for 46, finishes the running back 28. And my concerns are that we see a little bit more of the Latavius Murray and maybe Leonard Fournette gets activated.
Yes. Okay, as a person that this is all biased talk right now. One, I love Ken Dorsey. He's the reason I started watching football when he was at Miami, going in that title game. But besides the point, so I think he got a BS fired. Why not just fire the special teams coordinator? Like, how hard is that? Like, just fire him. Like, just get rid of him and he'll be the scapegoat. Why fire Ken Dorsey? There must have been at odds about how the plays were being called, I guess. I don't know. Because they were kind of crushing it while running it, but you can't blame them for the interceptions, the drop passes, the fumbles. I don't know. Anyways, besides the point, I'm not a fan of James Cook. I don't think he's a lead back. I think he's a very good complementary back. I think Murray I don't think this is the week to play them, but I think they kind of make it muddled now that Leonard Fournette is probably going to get activated to get play this week, and I don't think he really can play any of them.
Yeah, James Cook is my running back 24 this week. I don't feel great about it, but back and running back 2 with not a lot of upside given the defense that the Jets have and his previous production against this defense that we know how the Buffalo offense, Josh Allen can beat the best of the teams. He can also lose to the worst of teams in the NFL. Yeah. And that's just the reality of Josh Allen. I'll take it aside for a moment and tell a story here, Felix. When I had my Madden NFL 2004.
He's on the Cleveland Browns. Yeah. Sorry. My brain went to Ken Dorsey on the Browns. Yeah.
Yes. So what I did on that, when I played that game, I had like a Miami streak in me because I realized that so many players, played at the University of Miami. Oh, yeah. And I traded away all of the players that didn't play on the University of Miami and only had players from Miami. I looked up all their colleges at the time when I was in high school, and I was like, oh, I didn't know this guy. And so Ken Dorsey ended up being, like Willis McGahee was always my running back. It was great. Oh, yeah.
Kellen, what's his name? Kellen Winslow. I keep Kellen Winslow. I was going to keep saying Kellen Moore, but Kellen Winslow. And all the defense, man. You have the perfect defense back there. Ed Reed,
baby.
Jonathan Vilma. You got my gosh. It was Sapp. It was amazing team back then, man.
So I created a Madden team that was only Miami, and then I was like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be great.
Oh, you had Shockey on there too. Oh man, I can't. Oh, I love. It
was a lot of fun, man. We had a lot of fun with creating some teams like that. Anyways, we'll get back to it. With the Jets, you're starting Breece Hall. You're starting Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson actually, over the last 3 weeks, is the number 2 target earner in the NFL among wide receivers.
Let's be honest with here. In the pre-game stuff being called when they're going into their little rooms and they're talking about what the game plan is, they are saying, Zach Wilson, your first read, Garrett Wilson. Your second read, Tyler Conklin. Your third read, Garrett Wilson. They only want him to throw to those two players, and occasionally if they're triple covered, throw it to Allen Lazard. That's all it is.
Yeah.
He
So
can't do it.
Garrett Wilson, 5 of his last 6 games, he's had at least 12 targets.
Yeah.
4 straight games with at least 12 targets. And he is still, with the incompetence of Zach Wilson, still like the wide receiver 18 on the year. Yeah. With 2 touchdowns. He hasn't scored since week 2 against Dallas.
Yeah. It's not good.
It's not good, but Wilson has a very high floor, and you're going to start him. You're going to put him in your lineups because he gets so much volume that it offsets the inefficiency of Zach Wilson.
Yes. I just feel bad for Zach Wilson. He's getting a lot of flack. I don't think he's good. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is that offensive line is atrocious. And it's hard to play Breece Hall this year in general, but because he can break off a big run even with terrible offensive line play. But it's just you can't get anything done when your offensive line is being so bad. It's
you cannot get it
you can't run a functional offense, and you're getting met in the backfield. You're literally having to throw it immediately when you get the ball. It's been bad.
It has been very bad.
I don't think he's a play in DFS though. I wouldn't you'd be like, oh, he's going to be low owned and I love the Jets. Don't do it. There are other better plays. Again, if you want to play somebody that's not going to score any points at the very bare minimum, DTR is out there. He likes to run. Don't play Zach.
Yes.
Wilson. It's not worth waste your money.
Don't play Zach Wilson, but you can play Tyler Conklin.
Yes.
Yes.
He and Garrett Wilson are getting all the targets. Allen Lazard is getting a speck here and there. Honestly, I don't even know who wide receiver 4 is. I'm trying to think who the 4th option
Randall
is.
Cobb.
Oh yeah.
He's been inactive though. It's been gross.
Yeah, don't play any. Try not to play
Xavier
anything but Garrett Wilson.
Oh, Xavier
that's right.
Gibson. Yeah. Career high 3 week 10 targets in the loss to the Raiders.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Don't do it.
No, it's not worth it. We're gonna go to
do drugs. Don't do drugs. Don't play Jets unless it's Garrett Wilson.
Don't do it. We're gonna flip to a more exciting matchup between the Seahawks and Rams. Both have been very porous defenses. We expect a shootout and close game in this matchup. The Seahawks are favored by 1 on the road. Over-under for this game is 46. Stafford is expected back. Stafford, you're starting as a high-end quarterback too, high to mid-end quarterback too, with Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, Tyler Higbee, Tutu Atwell. Darrell Henderson, probably the lead back here.
Yes, he's a
with
smash.
Kyron Williams expected to return next week in week 12. Henderson has exceeded 56% of snaps in 2 of the 3 games. But maybe there's a shift that's going to happen after the bye. Henderson has not averaged more than 3.4 yards per carry in any of his games. I mean, Royce Freeman, on the other hand, has played overall better than Darrell Henderson from an efficiency standpoint. But we'll see if there have been changes to this running back room. It's been pretty gross, though.
Yes, it has been very gross. But I do think that Henderson is going to take I think this is going to be a big scoring week from both teams. I don't think the Rams played a lot of man-to-man coverage, which is what Geno kind of struggles against. And even if they did, I think that the DK Metcalf, and I know Tyler Lockett came on the injury list a little later in the week, so this could be DK Metcalf, JSN, Kenneth Walker. You play everybody if you have them. I think in this game, if you have a piece of this game on regular season teams, this is the week to play a little bit of everybody.
Yes,
it could be. These defenses aren't amazing. They just brought in Bruce Irvin, I believe, to the Seahawks. They brought in somebody. I'm drawing a blank.
They brought in Jason Peters to start at left tackle.
They brought in a defensive lineman, but I don't. They're not looking good defensively either side of these guys. They have one good cornerback on Seattle, and I don't think that safety came back is the same as he once was.
Jamal.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, thank you. I think this is definitely play your wide receivers. I love Tyler Higbee but this is not his season with Puka Nacua coming out. So
No.
He's going to get signed by like he's going to go to the Panthers next year. Yeah. It was perfect. It's perfect there. Like that's where he's going next year, and he's going to succeed there. But now with Nakua's showing out, I think it's Nacua, Kupp, and Darrell Henderson. I think those are the Rams you want to play.
Yeah, I have Higbee at tight end 18 right now, and there's not a lot of upside at this point. You mentioned because of both Kupp and Nakua's target shares. They're gobbling it up, and Nacua has earned more targets, during that time than Kupp, even as wild as it's been. Nacua has played very, very well. People have tried to. I have like 50-something% exposure to Nacua in Dynasty.
Nice.
And people have tried to buy low on Nacua. They've offered me their late first and late second, and I'm like, nope, I'm not letting him go. I love Puka Nacua.
Yeah,
I had been saying for months and months, even through when was it? April? I think it was April. When March or April when I started tweeting about Puka Nacua last year, or this past year, and I can't I want to continue to victory lap, Felix.
No, I'm 100% on board. Like I wasn't on board before the draft or whatever. I came on to when I started focusing on right afterwards, to see the final rosters and kind of see who's on the team and whatnot and who's making it. And I saw Puka Nacua. I was like, I didn't know anything about this guy, so I went watched all of his tape. I was like, oh, this dude actually reminded me if Kupp gets hurt, this is going to be the guy. And so I smashed a bunch of Nacua early and a little bit towards the end, but once I found out that he was going to be hurt, and it feels great to have a bunch of Nacua. Unfortunately, a lot of my teams sucked because they had Cooper Kupp instead of Tyreek Hill or CMC, but it is what it is.
So be it. We've got 2 games left. A couple notes before you guys, before we finish up here. Make sure you guys are following
Dennis
Felix at Crying Buffalo on Twitter. Make sure you guys are subscribed at Bestball Nation on YouTube. You guys, Felix has been crushing it tonight with the Bestbell Fantasy Football show as a guest. I appreciate you coming on. You've been absolutely great. Make sure you guys are also checking out bestballfantasy.com. Yes. I've uploaded my rankings there. I'm top 25 right now in season rankings. Yeah, we're crushing this year in the rankings competition. So make sure you guys are checking out bestballfantasy.com, and you go to rankings, and at the top it's weekly rankings, and you can just look at PPR, half PPR, standard. You can look at my IDP rankings. I'm 12th or 13th season long in IDP. I'm 16th in tight end rankings. I'm one of the worst kicker rankers there, but I don't care. Kickers don't matter. You can't tell me otherwise. Sorry. But I still submit rankings, and someone's got to be the worst. And I'm not doing well in the kickers, but everywhere else, I am absolutely crushing. I've got to figure out kickers somehow. I need to
Brandon McManus is number 1 every time, man. That's been my kicker for the last 10 years. I feels like.
But anyways, so check out those rankings there. I know a lot of you put start sit questions in the chat. The purpose of this show was not to answer those, but instead to dive into everything you need to know. And Felix has been great about, answering some of those questions, giving some feel and some stats for y'all. And hopefully this has been a really enriching podcast for y'all. Make sure you're subscribing on the YouTube channel if you found this helpful. Smash the subscribe button. Likes obviously are helpful, but the subscribers are an indicator. You guys vote with your feet. And if you like the content, subscribe here. And of course, check out the website, because that's where you can get a lot of your start sit questions answered without having to ask or comment. Just check out the website. I have it there in full PPR, half PPR, standard, because sometimes it's hard to toggle between those different types on in mid show. But if you guys really want the start sit questions, Billy Muzio and I have a weekly show called The Dominator on the Lineup Lockdown Edition on the Player Profiler Network, 9 p.m. Eastern on Saturdays. Make sure you're checking that out. Billy I told you I'm top 25 out of over 200 rankers, but Billy has been crushing this year as well. He's had 2 top 7 finishes in the weekly contests, so he's been absolute fire. The only thing he can't help you with are tight ends. He's like 140th. I'm like 16th or 18th, so I can help you out with everything. Billy though is he's been great and one of my best friends in the industry. So make sure you guys are checking out that show weekly Saturdays during the season, and we answer your start sit questions. It's a 30-minute show, so make sure you guys are on time, but also we go like 10 minutes over like every single week just to make sure we get your questions answered. We do it for the people. We do it for the people. The boys are back. We're ready to roll. And we've got 2 more games here. Minnesota at Denver. Over under is 42.5. Josh Dobbs has been getting some practice in for the Vikings. It feels a little low, but maybe this is because we also are not certain whether Justin Jefferson plays in this game. There's been a little bit of pessimism that Jefferson may not be activated for this game. I feel it's like 40% possible that Jefferson is activated. How are you handling this Justin Jefferson situation?
I put him in the Best Ball Nation Patreon League. I just feel like, I don't know. I feel like he wants to play. I feel like after getting the win and getting this this good mojo with Josh Dobbs being back there, I kind of feel like, oh, this could be our Kurt Warner season. Like that's how they're all feeling out there. And maybe he plays and maybe they have a good connection. Maybe that's what they want to see. And I kind of feel like they do. Also, Matt, like I think it was you that I was listening to that said Madison may not play this week due to concussion. Is that right?
Yeah, Madison he was limited.
Okay.
And he is officially questionable with the concussion. So we are still waiting.
That's pretty iffy. So I think Ty Chandler is a smash here going against the Broncos. But going back to Justin Jefferson, they know they don't really follow too much in Denver, but like if he's on Surtain is like one of the elite wide receivers or one of the elite cornerbacks and could shut him down. But that might be too sticky. Jefferson might, if he's healthy. I mean, we don't. It's always so hard to know like how healthy he is coming back from. Like it was hamstrings, wasn't it? When he got hurt.
Yeah, Jefferson with the hamstring
cut. Like hamstrings are so tough because they kind of kill you for the rest, like the whole year. But
yeah, the soft tissue issues for sure.
Man, I pulled a hamstring one time, and maybe it's just like my personal issue. Like I felt like I couldn't like go, but I'm not a professional athlete. I'm a 300-pound fat guy. So like, obviously I don't have like the same advantages that he may have.
That is fair. If Madison is out, Chandler, I have as once we get official word, I'll probably move Chandler up a little bit. He's currently running back 25 for me. I don't anticipate. I'm projecting that Madison probably misses, so that's included. Addison is very much an interesting play. I'm not sure if KJ Osborne will be available. He's very much questionable for this game, given some of the big hits that he's taken.
Man, he got walloped.
Yeah, the most recent news is that he's expected to be clear. He got a full practice and ready to go. So KJ Osborne still, I'm not optimistic about him being the answer for us, even in the flex position. So, but we are starting on the flip side. We're doing, shout out to the Pound and Off the Schneid, both y'all. Shout out to y'all. Javonte Williams. We are definitely starting Javonte Williams.
Yes.
He is a top 7 running back for me this week. I mean, he's getting the volume.
Yep.
The efficiency is there. He's gotten the touchdowns. Yeah. This is what we wanted him to be last year.
What we were expecting. Well, this is what we were expecting coming into the season, knowing that he was dealing with this injury, that he was coming back into the season early playing. We all knew he was going to get to a slow start and was going to build up to this point. And I think this is the point where we're like, oh, this is what made him a second-round pick last year, a late second-round, early third-round pick last year. Like, this is what we're getting back to, I think, finally, off the injury.
The Off the Schneid says mixing some yoga, Felix. Gotta get some stretches in, you know.
Yeah.
Woo.
I don't want to start coughing. I feel like if I move, man, I start coughing.
Maybe the yoga will push push the coughing out of the system.
Yeah,
Who knows?
maybe, man. I'm so over it, man.
But
I know it's not good for kids, man.
Yeah, for sure. When you have young kids, that's what gets you. That's what gets you sick. Russ, I have at quarterback 16 this week. Josh Dobbs down at quarterback 17 this week. A coin flip selection. If you had to flip a coin, which side is it landing on, the Dobbs or Wilson side?
I'm going Wilson. I think the Vikings D is it's like the Denver D getting a little bit better. I just think, Russ is starting to look like Russ a little bit. I think they're all starting to kind of gel, which is kind of scary being a Charger, seeing them kind of get better every week. And I don't know, man. Like, I think Sutton's starting to round into form too. I think Jerry Judy's, it's going to have his spike weeks and his duds. I would love for one particular player to get more volume. If he did, he will become a number one very quickly. Could be this year's ASB, is Marvin Mims. He has the potential to be this year's Amon-Ra St. Brown, and he's just not getting the work. If he gets the work, he's going to be this year's ASB.
I wish, but Sean Payton is a liar. Sean Payton is an untrustworthy coach when it comes to like Coach Speak Index. I quote tweeted and I like Sean Payton was like, yeah, we need to get Marvin Mims more touches. And I'm like, Coach Speak Index determined that was a lie.
Make him inactive.
Like Marvin Mims, what's wild is that like, as long as Sean Payton's the coach, like, I don't know if I have confidence that Marvin Mims is going to get the not just the snaps, because he got the snaps this past week, but the targets and the game plan around arguably the most dynamic player on this offense. He's going to win special team rookie of the year, and he may turn into like Josh Cribbs.
Yeah.
If they don't put him as a route runner and get him targets, like he could be, a Hall of Fame special teamer, but we need to see that happen before we can put Marvin Mims into our lineups. Yeah. I think we need to see it first.
We need to see it first, but I think he has the potential. If Sean Payton can use his eyes and realize that this guy needs touches because he's so explosive, he could literally be this year's ASB, like a team that's on the rise and show like a lot of promise. And maybe that's what he's doing. Like he's showing him, hey, get out there, play, get used to playing, and then go. I don't know. Maybe it's just all made up in my head of how he should be played, and it's never going to happen.
I drafted way too much Marvin Mims in my rookie dynasty. I drafted way too much Marvin Mims in like round 12 or 14 or whatever it was in best ball. I wanted overexposure to not only Mims, but also like that Chargers Denver game at the end of the year in week 16. Yeah. So
much.
We will see if by week 17 we can get that Amon-Ra St. Brown targets, but unfortunately, yikes. So far, no bueno. Only maybe one or two usable games so far this year. The last one of the week, and Felix, you've been an absolute monster attacking these, is the Philadelphia Eagles at Kansas City rematch of the Super Bowl. 45.5 over under. I wonder if it's not higher for two reasons. One, because the Chiefs are usually pretty good on defense, and two, because Jalen Hurts has been dealing with the knee issue for the last couple of weeks. But still, I have Mahomes at 1, quarterback 1, and Hurts at quarterback 2 for the week. That's how I have it. Swift is up there in my rankings for the running back position. Let's see, where do I have Swift among the running backs? He is my running back number 11, and Pacheco is all the way at running back number 18. Pacheco's at 18 for me. So
Okay.
mid-pack running back 2, high-end or low-end running back 1. I think that's how I have both of those running backs.
Yeah, I'm definitely more on the Swift side of that. I wouldn't want to play Pacheco if I had the option, but they have a muddled backfield back there too. Like obviously Pacheco is going to get the first work, but they got CEH there. They've got McKinnon. They've got
is CEH going to be inactive again?
Probably, but maybe they make him active and he's the 2 touchdown scorer of the week. They're so like hard to predict player wise. I think it's have Kelsey, you have Mahomes, you play those guys. If you are trying to,
this is also a Travis Kelce game.
Yes, this is his place. If you need a high upside type play, you play Rashee Rice. Yeah, I think those are the only plays. The 3 plays that you can play for Kansas City.
Rashee Rice, I have at wide receiver 36 for the week, which I think, back end wide receiver 3, flex consideration. He's the best wide receiver on the team in terms of consistent route running, down the field, dynamism, yards after the catch. Like Kadarius Toney, probably more talented as an athlete, but Rashee Rice, the more complete wide receiver, and obviously earning targets down the field, whereas Toney, more manufactured touches, closer to the line of scrimmage.
More of a Percy Harvin. Kadarius Toney. Sorry.
So there's been a comment about Travis Kelce, but we know the splits with Taylor Swift present at the game, and Taylor Swift is going to be there.
100%.
Both parents are going to be there. This is a massive Travis
Kelce game. Yeah.
This is the Kelce game. This is Taylor Swift's parents are meeting Travis Kelce's parents. This is a Travis Kelce in Monday Night Football, national TV.
Might be a proposal.
Might be engagement by this point because they are in love. And, I am here for all of it. Like, I know some people are like, hey, Bradley, I think Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift is too cheesy. No, I am here for all of it. I think this is great for America. I think this is great for football. It is great for Taylor Swift Nation. I think it is great for everybody involved because for the men in their lives, their women are happy to watch football. For the women, they are happy because Taylor Swift is happy, and it gives them the image of what their ideal man could be. There was literally a TikTok where a woman was saying, girls, don't be satisfied with your Joes. Don't be satisfied with your Tom Hiddlestons. Don't be satisfied with your Joe Jonases or your whoever. Don't find your Travis. Find your Travis. Don't be satisfied with someone not your Travis. And I am here for all of the Travis Kelce love. I think this is great for everybody. And it's even better for our fantasy teams because we know the splits. But when Travis Kelce has Taylor Swift attend the games versus not attend the games, we saw Taylor Swift not go to the Germany game, and Travis Kelce finished with like 26 total yards in the game. This is going to be an absolute smash game for Travis Kelce, not only because the pendulum is going to swing the right way, but also because everybody's going to be watching. Taylor's going to be there. It is the whole nation is watching Travis Kelce play in front of his girlfriend.
It's a rematch of the Super Bowl. It is the rematch of the Super Bowl. Like, come on. And they're still the 2 best teams in the league right now.
Yes. Yes.
It doesn't get better than this, man.
The Eagles are 8-1. We've got the Kelce versus Kelce narrative you mentioned, Felix. Everything is right for this matchup. I am and
Devontae Smith is going to blow up as a former Heisman winner. It's just everything about this game is going to be great. Everything about it.
Yes. I'm here for all of it. Devonta Smith, I do have at wide receiver 16, but I hear the upside swings. I hear the upside argument for Smith. Goddard not there, obviously. We know he had no fewer than 8 targets in every single game that Goddard did not play last year. And that's where, like, Devonta Smith about 30% of the time was a boom play with Goddard in the lineup. He is a high-end to mid-pack wide receiver 2 every game Goddard is not in the lineup. That is his floor. And so I get that we want to be in on Devonta Smith. He is a start this week. I agree with you, Felix. A.J. Brown, obviously, you're starting. Rashee Rice. But we're not starting any of the tight ends for the Eagles, not even Albert Okuegbunam, not Jack Stoll. Remember, Tyree Jackson. Tyree Jackson is not on the Philadelphia Eagles anymore. He was signed by the New York Giants to their practice squad and hopefully gets elevated. I'm rooting for Tyree Jackson on the New York Giants.
Me too. I remember him coming out of the draft and being a quarterback, but like not cutting it. So he went to tight end. It was such a smart move. But yeah, I mean, single and if we're going DFS talk a little bit, you're gonna want to play Travis Kelce at your captain or AJ Brown. Yes. One of those two guys is probably gonna smash. I love Devontae Smith, but he's not gonna outscore probably AJ Brown and Travis Kelce. Those are gonna be your captains this week.
I do like Devonta Smith as an interesting third possibility, though.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Okay, Felix. Thank you for all of this. It has been a wild ride. I didn't think it would be this long, but here we are. We gave the people what they wanted, everything you need to know about week 11, all the way through Monday. You've been crushing it. Tell the people where to find your stuff. Give us the promos. Drop the lines. Let's hear it, Felix.
All right, so we're actually cutting back our schedule over at Bestball Nation to 1 day a week where we go over our best lineups. We'll probably do a draft on Wednesdays. It's just going to be Wednesdays until the end of the year where I get a legalized betting, finally in the state of North Carolina. So there'll be some more bet content at the beginning of the new year. We'll have some more videos and stuff to do with that. And no, I appreciate it, man. You're killing it out here. I'm so happy to see you're killing it again in the rankings again this year. So all the props to you. You go ahead and put yourself out there and tell everybody what it's about.
Oh, yeah. Well, make sure you guys are subscribed to the YouTube channel, Bestbell Fantasy. Smash the subscribe button. We bring some of the best content here. Felix, one of the great guests that I've had on. There's we're continuing to grow. There's going to be some awesome announcements here over the next couple months. That I'm in the works. I can't reveal things yet. It's just a little bit of a tease, but some great things are in the works over the next few months here at Bestball Fantasy. Make sure you're checking out the website, bestballfantasy.com, and go to the player rankings if you want to get your start sits there. Also at Player Profiler, Billy and I have a weekly show where we talk start sits, so you can get those answered there. Billy Muzio of Player Profiler has been crushing it as well. So check those out. I do a Thursday night tailgate every Thursday, 7:30 to 8 for Player Profiler. And then I have every couple weeks, I have a Stack Hunters podcast for Player Profiler as well that I do. And I run the news desk there. So if you guys check out all Player Profiler stuff, I run the news desk. So all these writers put amazing work in, and I just make sure that it gets posted because that's the role, that we make sure we don't miss anything. And we put up some good work. So shout out to all the writers at Player Profiler for the news and the great work they're doing there. All right. I think that's it for the
one thing. I don't know if you're selling those t-shirts, but if you are selling t-shirts, go ahead and pick up one of the Bestbell Fantasy Football t-shirts. Probably one of the most comfortable tees out there that I have owned currently.
Well, I appreciate that, Felix. It is really comfortable. I really like the spread shop that sends them out, sells them, and I appreciate that. I have a hoodie that's really comfortable, so you can get the hoodies. You can get lots of different things on the spread shop. Appreciate y'all with the shout outs there. Yeah, the t-shirts for sure are there. Cool beans. Okay. I think that's it for tonight. Felix, we've burnt the candle at both ends and the third end. I don't know if candles have three ends, but we've done it. We've done it for week 11. Make sure if you guys missed something, we probably talked about it. Just rewind it. We've been crushing the content. All right. And until next time, y'all, good luck with your week 11 start sits, all of the things week 11, and enjoy your Monday Night Football, just like all of Taylor Nation. Till next time, guys, good luck in the streets.
I embrace all this risk, I'm insane. Talking about that best bet. I embrace all this risk, I'm insane. Talking about that best bell, I'm the best rest till into the next world. Guess I got next still. Best bell, I'm the best rest till into the next world. Guess I got next still.